We are happy to see all of you again. I am personally very happy to see all of you again with big visions, big vibe, big energy. And as I said last time, that we are carving ourselves to be better people. We are preparing ourselves to keep improving. We are looking on ways on how we can conquer our markets. And, and when I look at all of us, I see a massive potential, a capacity that is not yet utilized. And we are trying to ask ourselves, how can we utilize our capacities in our different areas of work, those who are doing business, those who are in career, those who are dreaming to start their own ventures, because that is the way to go. If you look at Africa today needs people like you, 28 of you, who are saying, I want to pick something, I want to improve, because we say that our population is young. We have an average age of 22 years. And it means that most of our people are young people. So we are the people to create these opportunities for these young people. So when I see you here, my dream is to see you expand. My dream is for you to tell me a testimony on how you are doing, either in your business or in your career. And that's why we are here to keep picking from one another, learning from one another. And today, I saw people who are here 10 minutes before time. 10 minutes before time, and when you come early, you have an advantage of 10 seconds just to say, to tell me, to tell us your name and what you do. And I saw one of you who is very sharp, the banner, the picture is his picture in the banner. I think this is Paul Kauku, and I could see he does graphics, brochures, which is very good. It's a good way of making yourself visible. So early in the morning, I saw Monica, I saw Josephine Mweni, I saw Kaindi Elizabeth, Jenny Wangari, Steve Domo, Harriet was there, Aili as usual was there, Brian was also there, Jenny Wangari, Karen G, and Paul Kauku. I'll only give the first three to say something. I'll only give the first three to raise their hands digitally. Let's see. Nagirai check the first three to raise their hands digitally, the ones I've mentioned. Just the first three. I can see Harriet is there manually. Okay. Let's see. Harriet is number one. Let's see who is number two. Number two is Monica. Number three is Jane. Number four is Kauku. I think we can have those four. Let me see. Yeah, we can have those four. Let's start with number one. Let's go. Monica.
Hello.
Okay, go ahead, Harriet.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
I am Harriet Nganga of Amira Fashion and Design. I'm happy to be here. I do fashion and design. We do branding. I thank God for this opportunity. And I thank God for the growth that I have continued seeing. I've improved in saving, improved business, and I thank God. God bless you so much.
Okay. Wow, thank you, Harriet. Thank you, Harriet. May your business keep growing. May it keep expanding. Amen. May you hear testimony that things are working out so well. That's our prayer. That's our aspiration, and that's our purpose for this mentorship. Let's hear Monica.
Thank you. Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Monica Gashusha. I work for a company called Mosphere Solution. I'm a co-director. And at Mosphere Solution, we support young entrepreneurs. They transition from school to work. Just getting the business etiquette, the business skills and competence that will become a prosperous entrepreneur. And I'm happy to learn from the business leader, even as I work to empower the young ones that are coming up from school. So our key things, we do strategy, we do people management, we do training and coaching. And I am a coach by profession. So that's what I do day to day, and I thank God for the progress.
Wow. Yeah, wow. Thank you, Monica. Good to hear what you are doing to the communities. That's very encouraging. I'm sure Annie Nyaga will look for you because Anne Nyaga, I can see her here, deals with the young people. Well done. That is very, very encouraging, and keep doing the good work. Let's hear from, who is this other one? Jane?
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity. My name is Jane Wangari. I am an advocate. I deal mostly with real estate and property. I am currently employed, but I want to get into entrepreneurial, to be myself, to work by myself. I don't want to be employed. So that's why I'm here. I draw a lot of inspiration from George. I also want to have a business like yours, George. So I am so glad that you're giving us this opportunity to learn from you. Besides that, I also, by the side, as a hobby, I talk to people a lot. So, and I am a counselor, and I have drawn a lot of life lessons from that, from my own experiences and from the experiences of people around me. So I have started also a YouTube channel where we are creating stories that give life lessons. These ones range from relationships to family to business and all that. So I'll be happy if you all subscribe. My YouTube channel is Jane Wangari Official. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Jane Wangari. You can share the link there. I will be the first one to subscribe, to support you. And I also ask all the other mentees to subscribe. We are here to support one another. And I like your vision of starting your own venture and creating jobs for others, creating opportunities for other people. That is extremely encouraging. I can't wait for all of us to have a physical meeting so that people can exchange cards, ideas, talk to each other, and see what each other is doing. So thank you, Jane Wangari. Asante sana. Let's hear Paul Kauku.
Thank you. Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Paul Kauku, founder and owner of K Graphics. I'm a graphic designer by profession, and also I'm happy to be part of this process. I've learned a lot. So thank you, Mr. George, for creating this time to mentor us. And also I've learned a lot from my colleagues here, who have seen with different ideas, things that I never thought that maybe can be turned to a graphic, to a business idea. So thank you for this session. So K Graphics, the vision that we have is to be able to create designs that will easily and catch the eye and be easily, if you want to get direct to your customers, that is easily relatable. And also we are looking towards launching a new product, which is motion graphics, but we are not yet there, but the aim is to grow into this industry and help businesses grow also. Thank you. My name is Paul.
Asante sana. Thank you for that. Keep expanding. And as many of you keep talking, I also keep thinking on how, what more we can be able to do to ensure that your business is expanding. We have been discussing with the Nagilai on how we can be able to, to have time for you, maybe 2-3 minutes for each of you. We do a recording, and then we share that recording on our mentorship video so that we can increase your visibility. So we'll be discussing that, the logistics on that, on how we can do 3 minutes recording. We can call it, 3 minutes with mentor, and then you can market yourself. You can tell the public what you do, and you never know. Business is about visibility. Business about negotiations, which we are talking about this morning. Finally, there was somebody else who was this Josephat. Unmute yourself, Josephat Mose.
Thank you, Mr. George Washuri. My name is Josephat Mose. I work with Josungare Secure Services. I take this opportunity to thank you so much for this opportunity. I deal with security services, all kinds of security, guarding. I have guarding services. I have dog section services. I install CCTV and alarm response services. Thank you, Mr. Washuli, because when I came to know you, I really things have been changing on my ground. About financial, also about marketing myself, things has been changing. Thank you so much. I thank you so much for this opportunity. Now I'm waiting more from you, sir. Thank you so much. I'm located at Kayole, along Spine Road, where we are having our offices. Thank you so much. I am humble, sir. Thank you. You have been helping me so much. I really wish to know you earlier, but I know that I'll go far. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mose. Thank you, Mose. May God expand your business as you create opportunities for our people. So thank you all. Thank you very much. I know that our Vice Chancellor is telling us when is the graduation, when is a physical meeting. Now we have added another assignment for 3 minutes recording with the mentor to give you visibility. And I'm sure we're going to work on those logistics, because for me as your mentor is to see you progress, is to see you prosper. For me, I want to hear testimonies, you know, that your business is hiring more people, is growing, is getting more revenue. And that is why we are here. And this wonderful morning, we are talking about negotiations, how to negotiate, negotiation, because they say that negotiations is part and parcel of business. You know, and I remember when I was preparing for this particular lesson, I remembered how many deals that I have lost as a person, how many deals I have lost. I remember the first negotiations I was doing was my first employment. You know, I went to look for a job, and I did the interview and I passed. But there was this meeting with the human resource manager, and I went for this particular meeting. And then I was asked, how much salary are you looking at? That time, this was my first job. So I was fearing, do I say this amount and then I lose the job, or what do I say? And then I said a certain figure, you know, and immediately the HR accepted. So immediately I discovered I lost it. I think I underestimated my capacity. Later on, 3 months later, I discovered the people we joined that organization with, they were earning 3 times my salary. That means I feared negotiations. I was paid less money and I lost it. And how many more times do we lose opportunities because we don't know how to negotiate? We don't know where to start. We don't know what to do. Even in our own businesses, I remember one time I was purchasing a piece of land, you know, in an environment that was not so sure about how it was. It was about 6 months later, I discovered that I really did not negotiate properly, you know, and I'm sure all of you can state situations, environment, deals, transactions that maybe you did not get the right value, the right negotiations. So negotiations is part and parcel of our businesses, it's part and parcel of our careers, it's part and parcel of our families. Even families negotiate, man. You negotiate with your spouse for an agenda, with your children, you know. It's a skill that all of us, we must obtain for us to succeed, for us to get to the horizon, for us to get to the peak. We must practice this particular skill. And they say negotiations is classified as important as innovation. You know, people say that if you want business to grow, you need innovation. You need to think differently. You need to do things differently. You need to see what you did yesterday and change it to do it differently today. They say partnership is important. They say negotiations is as important as partnership, working with people. I remember one time the former CEO, the late Bob Collymore, was asked, how comes these organizations making a lot of billions? And then he said, we only do 3 things: innovations, partnership, and giving. Those 3 things. And he said, that's the recipe for the growth of these particular organizations that I'm leading. They also say that negotiations is as important as your organization culture. If you want to thrive, put negotiations as an input in addition to innovation, partnership, culture, and also they say customer service. So where you rate innovation, where you rate partnership, organization culture, customer service, that's where negotiations comes in. Because if you're so good, Airi, if you're so good in negotiations, Kauku, if you're so good in negotiations, that means you get better deals, better prices, better relationship. And that's why this morning we are talking about this particular subject, so that we see how we can incorporate it in our business. And of course, when we talk about negotiations, we are talking about either you are a buyer or you are a seller, or if you're looking for a job, you're looking for a contract, or if it's a lawyer, you are negotiating with your client, you know, all these things. Maybe you can even go to the government, those who do business with government. I know some of you are doing business with government. You are able to negotiate. And they say that negotiations, they need a certain skill. And I would like to discuss what kind of skill do we require as the business people, as career people. What is this skill that we require to be able to negotiate the best deals? Because that's how life is. The other day, you saw a story of the president of DRC Congo. You know, they were doing some negotiations to join the East African Federation. And it was a huge negotiations. That means we can scale it at family level, organization level, the country level, the continent level. So it's a very important component. But what are these skills that Nicholas Odenyo must have? What are these skills that Ken Gome, you should have in negotiation skills? What is it? 5 things that you need to have. One of them is, number 1 is communication. 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 They say as an entrepreneur, as business people, you have to practice on how to express yourself. You know, when I mentor people, I always tell them, you must learn how to introduce yourself first. My name is Josephat Mose. My name is Joyce Lugano. My name is Mikal. Communication. You must be able to express yourself. You must express yourself so clearly. You describe yourself so clearly. You must communicate so clearly. The choice of language when you are doing negotiations must be very clear. Communication is very key. And if you want to build up more communication, you communicate more. Look for forums for you to speak to students, to other people, so that you are able to fine-tune your communication skills. I always tell people a joke that when I started business, I was not very courageous. Actually, I was fearing even to speak to people, to stand in front of people, to communicate to people. I was a bit fearful. And I remember the first time I started talking to people. I had a program called PTT, Personal Transformation Talks at 680. I was speaking to people. But even that particular time, I was not so confident. But as I did practice makes permanent. I remember I moved from the PTT programs. I went to G2G, Good to Great at St. Andrews. And then we kept moving. And that way, you can be able to sharpen that particular skill so that you are able to be a good negotiator. Number two, Mr. Kingori, you must be an active listener. Once you're an active listener, it means if you are listening, if Maina Kagoe is speaking to Monica Gashusha, and Monica is listening, you are not doing anything else. You are listening, you are nodding, you are understanding. It's called active listening. However, most of the entrepreneurs, we don't listen. We talk more than we listen. And when you talk more than you listen, you lose it out. You lose details. You are not able to close a good deal. And we must practice to be active listeners, understanding each other's opinion. When you listen properly, you understand each other's opinion. Let me tell you a secret. When you go out there, Paul Mukoma, you go out there to look for business, and you are given a seat to negotiate a business. Please put your phone upside down. You know, this is your phone. Don't put it in a way that you're seeing it calling, because it will distract your thinking. Put it upside down so that when people are calling you, you are not distracted. And for those who have got bigger businesses, get somebody who can also handle your calls. You know, 2 rings, the third ring, go to somebody who can support you. Why? you want to be there. You want to be an active listener in the negotiations. Very important. Many times people lose deals because you are in a meeting, but you are not able to concentrate. You are not able to concentrate. And the person giving you business says, I think this person is not serious. They were not serious. Very, very important. Number 3, how to develop these negotiation skills. Number 3, and the skills that you need. The skills that you need. I said you need communication. Number 2, you need to be an active listener. Number 3, you need what I call emotional intelligence. Oh my goodness. This is a good one. This is where we lose it as entrepreneurs. You need emotional intelligence. What is this? This is ability to control your emotions, ability to recognize other people's feelings. Yeah. Ability to recognize other people's feelings. Remember, in business, you are dealing with the people with the feelings. You need to recognize their feelings. And that's why listening is key. Emotional intelligence, ability to control your own emotions. There are some people that when they negotiate, wanakasirika, they get annoyed. I don't want that deal. I don't want to do business with you, you know, and I'm sure you have met these people. Polly, I am sure you have met these people. Felicity, when you're selling a space, I am sure you have met these people. They are emotionally unstable. I remember one time I used to have a boss, you know, who was very lethal. And every single thing, when he is annoyed, he was very abusive, extremely abusive. Anakasirika mpaka anatoa machozi, you know, inability to control emotions. And we are saying this is a skill that all of us, we must develop. Emotional intelligence. Number 4 skill that you must get to be a top negotiator. Number 4, patience. Yeah. Patience. Sometimes negotiations take long. Maybe Josephat is looking for a contract somewhere. It may take a month. It may take 3 months. It may take 4 months. It requires patience. And this one reminds me of a guy who has been, you know, negotiating something with Optiven. And today is the 2nd month. Yesterday, he sent me a very bad email. And then he told me, if you do not want my services, just tell me you do not want. Can you imagine? Ameshakuwa emotionally unstable. Ameanza matusi. You know, and you never know. You can be patient for a month, 2 months, 3 months, and you never know. And it applies even for us who do real estate. Sometimes you get a customer who doesn't buy our property immediately, but they come 5 years later, and maybe they buy 3, 4 properties. So patience is key in negotiations. It is very key. Patience. When you get a counter offer, you need to be patient. When you get people's being worked out, don't be worked out also. Patience. And then number 5, persuasion. Number 5 skill is persuasion. Persuasion, ability to influence the other party. Remember, negotiations is between 2 parties or 3 parties or governments or businesses or individuals. Persuasion, ability to influence the other party. That's why you find sometimes you do negotiations, you take somebody for coffee. Yeah, you want to bring the temperatures down, you know, to create an environment. You know, persuasion. You want to persuade these people to give you business. You want to persuade these people to give you a job. You need that skill of persuasion. And then the last one, you need to plan. Planning. You need to plan. If Dynatech Systems is going to meet Optiven for a certain deal, you need to plan for it. You need to get ready. Get your papers ready. Get your information ready. Don't go for negotiations and you're not ready. Jitayarishe vizuri so that by the time you go there to meet your counterpart, you are ready to negotiate. You are ready. So you need to have a very proper plan, very good plan. And definitely, there's no negotiations without honesty and integrity. In Kenya today, we are living in a situation whereby business people are losing a lot of money. Why? Integrity has gone through the window. You do not know who is honest. You do not know who is telling the truth. And even as you negotiate, have an extra eye to see, is the deal real deal? Is there integrity? And once you discover there is integrity, what happens? You respect the negotiations. You respect negotiations. They say negotiations is about problem solving. If you come to Optiven to negotiate for business, that means we have a problem we want to solve. So you must identify what is the real problem are you solving in negotiations. And then you must develop those skills of problem solving. Very interesting. And then finally, make decisions. Yeah. Don't stay there forever. Make decisions. Yeah. Develop a skill of making sound decisions. Make sound decisions. You can tell when to quit, when to close, and when to conclude it. Very, very important. Make that decisions. Wow, fantastic. Those are about the few skills that we must develop so that we are able to be top negotiators. And let me tell you, negotiations is a big thing. It's a big cost. I have seen some universities are teaching it. And then let's quickly look at how do you prepare for these negotiations? How do you prepare? Ajuna from Uganda, Ajuna Wilson from Uganda. How do you prepare for these negotiations to get an assignment or a job? How do you prepare? 3 things you must do. And this one you must do, and I do it personally. Number 1, 3 things you must do. You must research on the other party. Yes, you are going to see Wairimo Kariuki. You're going to see her. Go to her LinkedIn. Who is Wairimo? Research. Research before you go for that particular meeting for negotiations. Research. Check the details. Most of the things that we do as entrepreneurs, we just go to negotiations room, discussions, but we have no details. Do your research. I remember one time I want to buy a piece of land somewhere in Kagudo Road. And I had not done proper research on the sellers. And in the middle of negotiations, I discovered these people are not the real owners of the property. So I wasted my time, wasted my fuel, wasted my day meeting the wrong people. And I'm sure most of you who are doing business, you have done it. You have done transactions that wasted your time. I am so sure you have done that. So do your research. Number 2, how do you prepare for negotiations? Number 2, know when to seal the deal. Know when to say yes. Know when to put ink into paper. Know when to say yes. And sometimes not all negotiations that go on well. Sometimes you walk away. You may find that you're not benefiting. You are losing. Maybe Kauku want to do brochures for somebody. And the price you have been given, the offer given is below your cost. What do? You can't do it. You have to walk away. So make that decision. We say that every day, business people make decisions. Some decisions are yes, other decisions are no. So practice to make either decisions, either a yes or a no. Very important. Number 3, what do you do? How do you prepare for negotiations? Number 3, keep timelines in the mind. Yeah. Keep the timelines in the mind. You cannot do one thing forever. Give yourself a timeline. Maybe you want a certain transaction. You are negotiating for a certain order with an organization. How long will it take? Keep timelines so that you're not there every day, day in, day out. And let the other party know the timelines. You ask them, by the way, hey, George, when do we sign this agreement? When do you think we can conclude? Hey, Paul, what do you think? When do you require these brochures, for example? So have timeline in the mind. And the timelines are important, not only in business, even in our relationship, Sometimes I meet people and tell me that I've been in friendship. I want to get married, but I've been in this friendship for 7 years. 7 years? What is the man saying? Hajaongea. Yani uko na mtu for 7 years na hajaongea. Ask him, my friend, when are you getting married? What are you saying? Have timelines. Akwambia, okay, next year, I want to settle. This year, next year, we must get married. Have timelines in life, in business, in career, in negotiations, in orders. Very important. But those timelines must be reasonable timelines. Maybe let me share with you, because this is mentorship, on how I do it. And feel free, if you have a question, you can type it on negotiations. Feel free, but let me share with you how I do it on day-to-day basis. How I do it on day-to-day basis, you know. When I want something, the other day I was negotiating a space, you know. I was negotiating a space. We are looking to open a certain facility. And I went to visit that particular facility just to familiarize myself with the facility. And then I was getting some information, some research. How are the rentals here? How is the how is the population in this particular facility? And I discovered that there are key things that I discovered from my research that based my offer or based my negotiations. And this is what I do. I said, yes, I need this particular space, but there is also an alternative space. So all the time, how I do it, as you negotiate for a certain transaction, a certain deal, a certain contract, a certain client, always have other alternatives so that some deal does not fail and you become discouraged. Have alternatives. Don't be fixated. I have seen people negotiate for a deal. When it collapses, mtu anagojeka. You know, I remember one guy, a land agent, who brought land to us, and we were not able to sell. I could see frustrations. Then I told him, every time you market your properties, market to many people, so that when things don't work out, you are not fixated, you are not depressed, you are not annoyed. Always have an alternative, so that if this one doesn't work, this one also works. Number two, what I do, I identify my final decision. I say, I need this particular space, but I cannot pay more than this. So I have a figure in mind. Have a figure in mind. Have a limit, have a ceiling in the mind. Identify. And then finally, also check who is the final decision maker. Yeah, you can deal with the people, but they're not decision makers. You know, you come to Optiven, you are dealing with somebody who doesn't do procurement. So you're wasting time. So identify who is the procurement manager in Optiven. It is Benson. You know, talk to Nagilai. I want to come and see Benson because this is the decision maker. And many a times we waste a lot of time dealing with the wrong people. Even as when we do our properties. When somebody comes to check, I check, maybe it's a couple, and say, who is the real decision maker here? Is it a husband? Is it a wife? And of course, many a times, wives or spouses, women make many decisions in terms of land investment. So we know where to check. The same with you. And then, of course, this is something else I do. Get others along. Get somebody, just for Mose, when you go to negotiate that contract, Ed and Amutu, get somebody else, you know. If you have some other people that understand what you're looking for, go together. Because sometimes you can negotiate matter inaisha. Who picks up negotiations? It is your partner. Very, very important. Finally, today will take about 45 minutes. I have another meeting. Finally, why negotiate? Maybe it's asking, hey, George Buana, why keep negotiations? You just do deals. Why keep negotiations? Why negotiate? Why negotiate? Two things happen when you do negotiations. Two things happen. Number one, we build relationships. Yeah. Sometimes you can negotiate, you may not close a deal, but you build relationship. Unatengeneza rafiki, uko na rafiki. You build relationship. Number two, you also get the best deal. You get the best deal. Don't be like George who was paid half when others were being paid double. You can get a good deal, a best deal for yourself, a good offer. And then you get value. Yeah, business about getting value. You get value. And then finally, it's what I call win-win situation. The seller wins, the buyer wins. The employer wins, the employee wins. And let me tell you, those who do negotiations, don't be happy when you really suppress someone. Yani unafinyiria mtu. You know somebody is desperate, but you are giving them such a bad offer that these people keep complaining. I remember when we were young, and there were many of us in our family. And every time we were going to school, my mother used to call the guys who used to buy cows and goats. And these people, they knew when the school, the people are reporting to school, they were buying those goats and cows so badly. In fact, they come, they give you a quarter of a price. And ukilegalega, they start walking away. One time I saw my mother pleading with them, this cow those days cows were not very expensive, they were about 3,000. A cow can cost 3,000, but the guy offers 200 shillings. And if you think, if you're not very ready, the guy walks away, goes to his car and drives away. And I could see my mother pleading, let her hear me ambidi. So don't be so happy when you oppress people on offers. Be just, be a person of integrity, and that's how your business can be blessed. That's how your business can grow. So don't be like that guy who was buying, things at a throwaway price. Okay. The last portion of our discussion today is how to improve your skills. How do you improve your skills? How do you improve your skills? And I can see some few comments on the platform. I can see one boy commenting there. Amesema hapo kwa alternatives, I almost died of stress in 2019 after a deal I had invested so much time and the resources failed to materialize. Wow, thank you, boy. I hear you. Yes. Sometimes you put a lot of energy, effort, power, alafu deal itaanguka. Always have alternative. You can literally die of stress. I hear you, Wambui Modega. Wow. Okay, how do you improve these negotiation skills? How do you do it? Easy, this is how I do it. Practice negotiations. Practice, practice, practice. Start from your own home. Negotiate with your children, with your spouse, with your employer. Practice negotiations. You just practice. If you practice, study, like what you're doing now. We are learning some skills of negotiations because it's part and parcel of our lives, part of parcel of our businesses. Practice, practice, practice. Practice. Don't be scared. Don't fear. Don't fear like George. When I was negotiating my first job, I lost it. You practice. Number two, take your time. Don't be in a big hurry. Take your time. Teresia, take your time. If you're doing negotiations for a car, for example, the first day you just visit. Yeah, just visit, see all those cars, ask prices, and then 2-3 days go back. And then test the offers. Don't do things in big hurry. When you're in a hurry, you make the wrong choices. I saw a story of somebody who really wanted to settle down in life and made a proposal. The third week, he got married. You know what happened? The guy had not done proper research. The guy was in a hurry and he discovered many other things he had not seen. Don't be like that guy. Take your time. Take your time. Number 3, if you're not sure, get a mentor. Get somebody along you, somebody who can support you. Yeah. Get somebody who can listen to the deal. Yeah. Get somebody. And that's what I do. When I go to negotiations, I get our finance director, I get my colleagues also to listen. Get a mentor, get somebody. And then number 4, develop confidence. Develop confidence. Yeah. Develop confidence. Don't go there with wasi-wasi. Develop confidence in discussions. Don't shy away. Discuss. George, I want this property in Success Gardens. This is the amount of money I have. I want to pay the balance on installments. Be confident. This is a business I'm negotiating for. Develop confidence. How do you do that? Always conquer your fears. conquer your fears. Conquer your fears. And once again, as I told you, negotiations is part and parcel of our business growth. Negotiations is part and parcel of our life. Negotiations is part and parcel of our next level growth. I will spare another 10 minutes for Q&A, and then we shall be able to answer. That's why this is mentorship, it's not a lecture. So we'll be sparing 10 minutes just to ask a question, read your comments, and also if you want to say something, we'll give you a chance. And I can see Mase Wamai saying something and asking. Mase is asking, how do you deal with toxic clients? Can you decide to stop working with them? Working with them is very stressful. When it comes to payment, it takes so much effort and time to get payment for work delivered. Hey. What? That's a very good question. And since we are here to learn, I'll ask Paul, who have got a lot of customers, some challenging ones, to try to answer that question. Paul, are you there? Working with them is very. Paul, are you there? Mukoma?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
The question is, umeona hiyo swali?
Yes, nimeiona about dealing with toxic clients, especially those who delay to pay. I've dealt with so many of those, and many a times it's easier if you notice and you stop the relationship before it gets to that place where you have to fight for payment. I'll give an example. One time I had a client and they could not pay some balance that I really needed. And because it became a tug of war, we ended up becoming enemies, and it costed me so many other customers. So what I realized, and the best thing to do, sign an agreement. Once you meet a client, put everything on paper. And the deposit they're supposed to pay, once they do the deposit, when they're supposed to do the balance, and what are the requirements before you do the final. When you do paperwork, it really helps, because at that time I was not doing proper paperwork. So when you do everything verbally, you'll end up being at loggerheads and making enemies, and it costs you many other customers. So for me, if you realize it will get there, it's better to stop than progress, hoping hoping you'll get this business, because maybe you'll stop and get other business from the right customers, because it's true, there are clients who are toxic, and you get with it, it's going to infect you. And that's what I can say in a nutshell, Mr. George. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you, Paul. I know you do a lot of customers, and I hope Mase Wamai, you got it. I can also add from what Paul has said, that every time you are dealing with toxic customers or clients, yes, make the terms very clear, and don't act desperate. There are some customers who think because they are paying you, they can harass you. So make your terms so clear that if you don't make a payment within 30 days, we charge interest, 2% per month. If they don't pay, that's why you get people who chase debt collectors. They'll talk to these people, they'll put a demand. If they don't pay, that's why you get in touch with our lawyer in the house, Jane Wangari. Yeah, the lawyer in the house. They get a legal notice that if they don't pay, they are going to be sued. Very important. But I'll ask Mercy, do not do business out of desperation. Let your terms be so clear, and don't do business verbally. I have had people coming to me say, George, this person owes me 7 million. Do you have any agreement? No, it was verbal. Please do business on contracts, because contracts, you can effect them. I hope Mase umesaidika hapo. So don't put all your money. There's a guy I mentor who supplied the county government. Now it is 5 years, no money, nothing. It's very challenging, and the paperwork was not proper. So do proper paperwork and don't be desperate. I can see another question from Elizabeth. Elizabeth, I can see a question from Elizabeth. And Elizabeth is asking, is there anything like over negotiations? If yes, how does one go about it? Yes, I think I talked about if you are the service provider, I said earlier, don't be happy when you negotiate. Yani umefinyilia mutu. Don't be happy. That is being a predator. Predatory relationship. Be fair. Business about fairness. And you as the seeker of the service or the person looking for the service or a product, if you feel that the person have over negotiated, the deal is not good, feel free to say no. You know, don't do things out of a loss. There are people who come to me and say, George, I have cash for a manage. I want to pay you 5 million for a quarter acre. It's good money, but it's not good business, you know, because it's even almost at cost. So feel free to say a yes or a no. Ukisikia umefinywa sana is the time to say no. I love this business, but not able to make it. Or you elaborate, you get somebody to do more negotiations. I hope Elizabeth hapo nimekusaidia kidogo. There's a gentleman here, Nicholas Ondenyo. Are you allowed to negotiate lower when you are at disadvantage and you are in need of a deal? You are desperate. What is irreducible minimum? I like that. Yeah, I think as you go to negotiations, you need to know your limit. Let me give you a good example. Those who are looking for office spaces. You know, you find an office space in CBD and your budget is 40,000, you know, but you go and find a very good office, beautiful, going for 100,000. So you need to ask yourself, what would happen if I pay 100,000? Can my business support this rental, for example? And what's the maximum can I go? Maybe my budget was 40,000. Yeah. And maybe current G is offering 100,000. How much more can I add? Maybe you say, from my financials, I can maybe add another 10,000. So let me give my offer of 50,000. You say, this is my offer. And then there are two things. The owner can say either yes or a no. If not, look for alternative. I want to ask Nicholas Odenyo, never ever do a desperate deal. I am sure you have seen what is happening in our political scenario. People are cutting deals. People are doing negotiations. They are using all kinds of strategies. Today, we have not discussed about the strategies. You can study about them. But never, ever go there disadvantaged, even if you are desperate, you know, because you'll have what I call dissonance. Let alone, you'll have dissonance. You'll be unhappy. That is Nicholas Odenyo. Today, I like the questions. Jane Wangari Wakiri again. How do you balance between letting go and sealing the deal, especially when you badly need the deal? Yet, there is one aspect you are not agreeing with the other party, e.g. on cost or pricing. How do you balance between letting go and closing a deal? And once again, I want to emphasize, you have to make that decision. What are the costs? What are the advantages? If you find advantages are more, maybe there could be a deal and you say, if I got this first order, for example, first client in Optiven, maybe I may get another client. And to be as practical, even as at Optiven, sometimes we give a customer a discount based on where the customer is working. Maybe unaona huyu customer anafanya na Unilever. And you say, if I give this discount, it's not very good, but I'm going to access the Unilever market or this organizational market or this particular market. You say, let me do it. So you have to make that decision. You have to look at the factors. What are the advantages of accepting the deal? Or what are disadvantages? But you find advantages are more, Jane Wangari, you say, okay, let me run this transaction at cost. in anticipation that tomorrow I'll get more business. We always do that. So you can be able to make that balance, that particular decision. I know sometimes it's not easy, and that's why sometimes it's good to consult. You know, you can consult, you are confident. What do you think? Should we close it or should we not? Very important. I remember one time we were getting a loan facility from a bank. That time the bank was charging 21%, you know, and I said, wait a minute, how do we make money by getting a loan facility at 21%? But we said, wait a minute, even if we don't get this 21%, we lose this particular deal. By the end of the day, we pick the money at 21%, but what did we do with our properties? We adjusted pricing, and we were able to pay back that particular loan. So you check what do you lose, what do you gain, and then make that decision as a business person, as a career person. I can see somebody here called T-I-T-I-E, Tighty. How do you pronounce it? Tighty. Huh? What is the preferred percentage of profit should one charge above all the expenses? Can you give a range? Okay, Tighty, I hope that's the spelling. I don't know which business you are in. Maybe you can tell me the business you are in. And every time you do profitability ratios, always factor in your cost, the cost of money, and then your margin. Many a times people look between returns of 10% for minimum business up to 29% if you're doing good business. Of course, there are people who are lucky, like Josephat. I don't know your returns, whether it's 30% if you are lucky, but many people add between 10 to 20%, depending on the cost of finance, the cost of business, your expenses. And I'm sure that Tighty, you can be able to consult more if you have an accountant to add your margins. Those who are in printing, like Paul and Kauka, you know how you add your margins. You can factor in, if I supply Optiven, how long do they take with my money? You add more margins. Are these guys going to pay cash? If it is cash, you can be able to minimize your margins. Maybe 15%, 20%, 19%, depending on your appetite and also depending on your competition, because we are living in a competition world. But you can tell me what business you are in. If it is consultancy, of course, consultancy, they do different margins from product. They do higher margins because they use their own intellect, energy, and their wisdom. I can see Wamboi Mudhiga. On emotional intelligence, I once dealt with the most immature old man guy ever. We lost the deal. Guess who won? Optiven won. Oh my goodness. I love that. Emotional intelligence. Yes, very important. Managing the feelings. I think that's where we lose it most of the times. Okay, this is Nicholas. How do you make a client agree to a timeline without looking rude? This is Nicholas Yatiel, investment construction company. How do you make a client agree to a timeline without looking rude? I would advise Nicholas that the language you can use statement like, what do you think? Do you think we can complete this assignment by next month on 30th? What do you think? Let them answer. So construct positive statements. What do you think? Monica, do you think we can be able to sign this agreement by end of tomorrow? Can we do this by end of 2 weeks? Let it come from them. The same with the emails, those who negotiate with the emails. Ask a question so that the person can be able to commit. What are the best timelines? You know, negotiate, persuasion. I talked to it earlier. Thank you, Nicholas. I hope the construction company is doing well. There's Gloria Collier. Gloria says, consider first if you have break even. Desperate deals will put you at a deficit. Hey, I like that. Yeah, Gloria is offering an advice. Thank you very much. Yeah, consider first if you have already recovered your cost, and then desperate deals will put you into a deficit. Actually, desperate deals are not good. They can make your company collapse. Don't allow anybody to arm twist you. Refuse to be arm twisted. When you're arm twisted, God will give you better business. Trust God for better business. Don't allow somebody to step on you, you know? Yeah, don't be desperate. Okay. Title says, I am professional, doing professional cleaning. Wow, professional cleaning. That's like a service. I'm sure you can be able to add your margins depending on your inputs. How much you are paying your cleaners, your inputs, cleaning agents, and then you are free to add. But compare with competition. Don't be too high. Do your research. Compare with competition and put your percentage margins. Okay. Gilbert Tanky, how do you convince clients who think we make a lot of money in ICT? I am in business of ICT, software development. Thank you, Gilbert. How to convince clients is selling value to them. If you convince clients, even that you are offering value, people are willing to pay for any value. You know why we do value added plots, we do solar, we do water, and then we price it slightly higher. People believe in value. Just fact, when you give services, your guards are clean, they are neat, the boots are nice. People see value and they'll pay you a premium. People are ready to pay for a premium. The speed of delivery, Gilbert Tanky, the speed you deliver, the testimonials of the people you have worked for, share with your client, let them see what was my experience dealing with the Tanky. They will come for you, they will look for you. Okay, let me see. I am going down. Okay, I am going down. Wow, today maswali ni mzuri. I can see Elizabeth. Let me see where I was. Okay, I can see Elizabeth. I love this. Construct positive statements. Yeah, that's very true. That one works. People need to be massaged. People need to be massaged. I can see Brian seeing you there. I have always had confidence issues. How do I effectively communicate my values without coming off as a bad guy? I think I will discuss that topic. Thank you, Brian. Yeah, you must work on your communication, your confidence levels, the way you craft statements, the way you look at people, the way you roll up your eyes when it's eye-to-eye negotiations, the verbal communication. Maybe I'll discuss that in another level. I can see our time is up. I can see my friend Waswa. How do you handle a case where cost of inputs goes up midway through the project? Waswa, you must be doing construction. People who are doing construction, they are in a big risk. Bei ya shuma iko juu ya cement, and I know that they are giving advising statements. So advise your customers with the facts. Show them that the cost of shuma zimeenda juu, the cost of cement, the cost of metal, the cost of iron sheets, the cost of construction. Justify, convince your customers. I know some friends are doing it. I've already got a letter from a developer that I bought a property, I have to add another $500,000. So I've already got some notice. But give those notices well, good language, and call the customer first before you write. Otherwise, it will put you to social media. Mercy, my first business collapsed because I was only concentrated on the sales and failed to check on profit making. I would sell a product the same as I bought it as to keep selling. How do I change this? Hey. This is pure mentorship. Oh my goodness. I wish you had all the time. This is a very good question. I'll answer this on the platform. I'll give a good answer to this because that's another huge topic. You don't exchange money for money to please people. Make sure that you're making some margin, not only selling. I'll discuss that. Wamboi, again, also profit margins depend on industry. I agree with that. Retail market is currently at 10%. Consultancy is at 30%. Wow, thank you, Aboy Mudhiga. Hapa umesaidia mentee, very important. Then lastly, Polyjogu. Thank you for the topic today on negotiations. I have lost some good business because of confidence on how to negotiate properly. I tend to think of the customers more than myself. I tend to undersell. Wow, thank you, Polly. I know now you have learned something. Do not undersell. Remain afloat. Man, you need cash flow. You need money. You need business, and you can be able to market yourself. Without much ado, let me take this mic back to the Vice Chancellor, George Washuri Foundation. And I love you all. I value you. May your business keep expanding. I can't wait to meet you one-on-one. I can't wait to have 3 minutes with you to market your business and what you do. Keep expanding, keep growing, and God bless you. Back to Nagilai.
Awesome, awesome. Wow, that was profound. That was great. Yes, I tell you, people, I'm also learning. And yes, we are getting better and better in terms of what we get to learn each and every time in here. Today, I really learned a lot in terms of negotiation, and I believe you also learned a lot from the questions you've asked, from the comments. I can see that all of us have really learned a lot. So our time is much spent. So just a few things I'd like to highlight. There was a round table with a number of us. That is Paul, Harriet, Mweni, Airi, and Mary Caberere. I will communicate to you next week when we will have that round table. Then in the next mentorship, I will also communicate the date for us to have one-on-one or a physical meeting that we will do in our offices here in APSA second floor. We have a good space for us to meet and just share together. Then the other thing that we'll have to do is once we have the date for graduation, I will communicate most likely in the next mentorship. So thank you very much for being there. We really appreciate you. And we say a big thank you to our mentor. We appreciate you for taking your time to come and mentor us and to interact with us. God bless you. Have a fantastic weekend. See you next time. Asanteni sana.